Hello people, welcome to Vedic Nakshatra wisdom, the arena of positive astrology. So today we'll be talking about the Vedic charts, signs and houses. So in Vedic astrology we have two different types of chart, North Indian and South Indian. North Indian kind of looks like a diamond, so it's kind of like a diamond shaped chart, and the South Indian kind of looks like a combination of small rectangular shapes. I normally use a North Indian chart. Therefore, for this series, I'll be going over North Indian type of chart. So, let me draw the North Indian chart for you. And please forgive my drawing, it's pretty bad. So, this is how North Indian chart looks like. And you'll see some kind of number inside the chart. So you'll see like something like 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11 12. So these number, they indicate the signs. There are 12 signs in astrology, and it starts with Aries. So basically it's Aries, then Taurus, then Gemini, then Cancer, then Leo, then you have Virgo, Libra, Scorpio, Sagittarius, Capricorn, Aquarius, and Pisces. So let's forget about the signs and let's talk about the houses in astrology. So similar to signs, there are 12 houses in astrology. So this section right here, from here, this section right here, this section is the first house, and the things that first house represents are it's the first house is basically the house of self. It represents you and the way you look at things. Basically, your physical personality. It includes your appearance, temperament, nature, body weight, etc., body frame, etc. I'm just gonna go over different houses in very brief because there are a lot of different things one house represents. Uh, so basically, I'm gonna go in very short details. So that's what is first house. The second house, this section right here, the second house, second house represents the wealth, your savings, your assets, your taste, your singing ability, etc. This is third house. The third house represents short travels. It represents your mental ability. It represents your ability to memorize journeys. It represents brothers. It represents sisters, neighbors, your interests, your habits. Those are represented by third house. This section right here, it's fourth house. The fourth house in Vedic astrology represents mother, represents your the place where you grew up. It represents real estate. It represents vehicles, something that provides luxury in your life, your convenience, those kind of things is represented by fourth house. This section right here represents fifth house. Fifth house represents what you enjoy the most, things you enjoy the most, your happiness. It represents your your children, etc. Sixth house represents discipline. Sixth house represents daily work. Sixth house represents diseases. Sixth house represents enemies. This seventh house is directly opposite of the first house. So it's opposite of the first house. So since first house represents you, the seventh house, the opposite of you, is your spouse. It represents other people. It represents business. It represents how you deal with other people, etc. This is eighth house. Eighth house represents the occult side in you, the hidden things about you, the secrets. It represents sudden gain. It represents sudden gain. It represents something that that's unpredictable. Those kind of nature is represented by 8th house. This section right here, it's 9th house. 9th house represents your dharma. 9th house represents higher education. 9th house represents father. 9th house can represent uh, foreign travel, going abroad for higher education, etc. 10th house 10th house represents it represents the status, your status in the society, how people see you, respect. It represents involvement with government, involvement with government. 11th house represents gains. It represents elder brothers or sisters. It represents networking. 12th house represents losses. 12th house represents donation. 12th house represents something that is beyond this material world, or it represents metaphysical stuff, meditation, your interest in those kind of things, something beyond this world. So basically those are all the details about the houses, small details, brief details about the houses. And similarly, there are the signs like Aries. It's similar to first house. Taurus, it's similar to second house. Gemini, it's similar to third house. Cancer, it's similar to fourth house. Leo, it's very similar to fifth house. Virgo, it's similar to sixth house. Libra, it's very similar to seventh house. Scorpio, it's very similar to eighth house. Sagittarius, it's similar to ninth house. Capricorn, similar to 10th house. Aquarius, similar to 11th house. And Pisces, similar to 12th house. So that'll be all. Okay, in next lesson we'll talk about different planets.